got Jake from Set the Tone, Coach _ J Murr. I got Jason from the Hall of Fame College Football, which is CFB-Pod. And then Brinsky, who is an honorary member, who, we'll see him when we see him at Sharpshooters Pod, but he definitely has some good content over there. All right, man, let's go ahead and bring all our guys in, man. Here we go. I got Jason, got Shawty, and we got Andrew. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
Hey, man, look, hey, listen, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching all the games, and then I was like, hey, I'm just going to push it back a little bit so I can get back to the hotel and get this thing jumping, man. And now I got one TV instead of 50. So
Today was a 50 television.
You just stayed right where you were. Shit.
Listen, man. Hey, I had to get my little man and my wife back to the room, man, so they could chill out. I ain't gonna make them sit in Buffalo Wild Wings for 2 hours with me while I do the show. So, hey, man, what's going on, fellas? What's going on? Okay, we got Benji in the house already. Benji in the house. Our Future was in here. Stat guy gonna be on one tonight. Hey, you already know our Future, and it's just not because the Gamecocks won, but hey, man, my nephew got down today. I told him after the game, I said, you just needed me at the game. That's all it was. All right, Stephen G in the building. What's going on? I'll be in once this slugfest is over. I understand, Stephen G. I understand wholeheartedly, my guy. Shawty, what's going on with your dog?
Gentlemen, how's it going, man?
Hey, man, we're making it work, man. I'm on the road. You know what I'm saying? Lexington, Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of football again to talk about, man. A lot of good matchups, man.
That's right. Andrew, Penn State, man. Y'all had a close one today.
We did, but hey, win your clunkers. I'd rather be 2-0. I mean, it was way too close for comfort, but you get a win.
Got the dub, right?
You get a bye week, and then you get another game. So I'm happy.
Right. That's all that matters. Jason, what's going on, my guy? You muted.
I had the mute. Okay. I was muting myself because I was cursing over here. Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
But they're having a clunker right now too. So
right.
It kind of is what it is. It's the offense hasn't looked great. The defense looks good, but it is what it is.
I got you. All right, Stephen B is in the building. What's going on, my guy? Stephen B said, "What's up? My Sooners look pathetic." Hey, man, it's one of them Saturdays apparently. Astro from space. What's going on? We appreciate you getting in, Astro from space. We appreciate everybody on. If you're watching on Twitter, I don't know if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. Hall of Fame channels, Just My Damn Opinion channels, and the Fan Addict. Hey, man, let's start. Listen, we all know how we get down. Safety. There's a safety. Y'all know how we get down on the Fan Addict, man. We start the show and we keep up with the ongoing scores. And we also talk about the games that's already finished. Right now, we got Mississippi State, Arizona State just started, Vandy and Alcorn State. And then the big one is Oklahoma and Houston in a slugfest. And if they do not count the forward progress, this is a safety that just happened. Oklahoma just got a safety if they do not count the forward progress. Shawty, Texas smashes Michigan. Thoughts?
I would say right now, you can argue that Texas has the best victory of the season so far. I don't think anybody predicted it to. I predicted to go double digits, but I didn't think they was going to beat them that bad. They just physically out manhandled Texas. And once again, y'all guys hear me say it all the time. It come down to the trigger man. It was just very poor quarterback play from the Michigan offense.
I'm gonna be leaning on y'all tonight, man. Of course, y'all know I was in transit, so I seen some of it. I didn't see all of it. The part I did see, Quinn Ewers did look pretty good. I knew Michigan's offense was gonna be inept. Their quarterback situation, like Shawty always alludes to, their trigger man, they got to get that figured out for sure, because they didn't look good at all. Andrew, I know you might be happy to see Texas smashing Michigan.
Yeah, it's always great to see Michigan lose, especially in their own place. But Davis Warren, his average pass was 6 yards. That's not going to get a cut. But Quinn Ewers straight up balled out.
Right.
I mean, he was on the run on both sides, stretching the field, and then they kind of sat on Michigan in the second half by just running it down, eating a bunch of clock, playing sound defense, and at no point was Michigan really even in this game because it started 7-0, and then all of a sudden it was like 24-0, and then it was over.
See, that's the part I saw. I saw it when it was like, I want to say they had just scored the 24, and I was like, looking, I'm like, of course, I thought that they would win big, but I didn't know they was going to, do like what they did, like Shawty kind of said, man. Stat guy, thoughts, Michigan.
Yeah, no, I mean, the score doesn't do the game justice. The game was a lot uglier than that final score of 31-12. Texas just dominated on both sides of the ball, did whatever they wanted to do. Michigan's kind of lucky it wasn't worse than 31-12. I'm really shocked at Michigan's starting quarterback. I personally would go with the other guy, but hey, we'll see what they do in the coming weeks. But I think they need to change at QB if they want to get that offense rolling. Go with the more mobile quarterback and see what they can make shake.
So Jason, I know you caught some of it. Would you say the lack of offense is just the quarterback, or is it the play calling because he doesn't have a quarterback?
Well, I think this is one of those games, and we talked about it a lot the last few days, is styles make fights. I think had this not had some turnovers early on, maybe this is a bit of a different game because of the deliberate, what the hell am I? They're deliberate. They're very deliberate on offense is what I was going for.
Right.
But when you turn over the ball and you get behind, you have to start kind of doing things that you don't like normally to do, I guess, if you're Michigan. So that kind of put them in a bad position. And yeah, I don't love their starting quarterback position at all. And if you're playing two, you kind of don't have one. Is what it feels like to me. So I kind of agree with what Stat was saying. I would say that it's not a great situation for them.
Right. So I'm wondering why they didn't go into the portal and get somebody, Shawty. Do you think they really felt confident in these guys? Because from what I seen last week and the little bit I seen this week, I can't see why they didn't go to the portal to get somebody.
I mean, it could be a little bit of both things. It could be, they felt comfortable with what they had coming back in the two guys, and it also could have been what was available to them, who was willing to come there. Some guys want to come there and will go to a program and immediately start. Some guys, don't mind competing. So I can't really speak on that situation. But I will say, I don't think it's just necessarily the quarterback. They are not a very good team. This is not the same Michigan.
Right. You think that got something to do with Sharon Moore not being able to control all the controllables as opposed to, Jim Harbaugh?
I don't know. I think
my bad.
Go ahead, Shawty. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm really done. Go ahead.
No, I just think that I think it's a little early. I mean, he's taken over a situation where they lost a lot of people to the draft, and they lost some. They didn't really have as much coaching continuity either. He's still running the offense or whatever, but all their best players, pretty much, other than the running back, was, and he wasn't the starter last year, so all their best players aren't part of this. So, and then they lost their defensive coordinator and stuff too. So, even though I really think that their defense is still pretty good, I think it's going to take time. And anytime you change a coach like that, I think it's probably going to take a little bit of time. But I don't think Michigan's very good right now either.
Right. What about you, Andrew? You think it's a little bit of the quarterback, a little bit of losing all the people altogether?
Yeah, I would like for them to see what they have in Alex Orji. He's their backup quarterback, and he's a little bit more mobile. But I also think you're running into a buzzsaw. Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, those three teams look like they're on the path to get the bye. I don't think there's very few teams, home or away, that could really match up well with Texas right now. And Michigan doesn't do well going down early. They're a team that wants to beat you 13-10 in this iteration of Michigan. Last year, they could have done a little bit more because they have the weapons, but they lost a ton to the draft, 16, 17 people. They changed coordinators. Sharon Moore is the first time in this entire, landscape, and they have a lot of eyeballs of them week 2. And we've seen a bunch of really good teams today get tested, and Texas just had that finishing touch. sort of thing. Like when they were in the red zone, it was going into the end zone. They weren't kicking field goals, whereas Michigan was settling for field goals. And they controlled the tempo, they controlled the pace, and then once they got comfortable, they just started running the ball. I think Michigan is in for a rude awakening this year. The Big Ten just got 4 new really good teams. They have a pretty unfavorable schedule, and they still have to play Ohio State. So it's going to be a long season for them, but I think if anyone's expecting them to be back into the playoff after winning the national championship, I think those ideas have been tempered.
Right.
Yeah.
Michigan refused to check the tight end. I mean, they refused to check the tight end today. 85 was open all day long.
Was that Sooner Brandon said that they had a quarterback?
Well, real quick,
okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so, and kind of to that, you mentioned the portal. Outside of Cam Ward, what transfer quarterback has had success so far in the early season? I mean,
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord looked good today, but I mean, what's the chances of them getting him from Ohio State? Like that's probably not. He's probably off the list to begin with.
The kid from Vanderbilt, New Mexico State.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, his numbers aren't like eye popping. But hey, he's going to be 2-0 after today, so maybe. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the portal's so hit or miss that I think you just got to have your guy and go with it. Unfortunately, they don't.
Right. Astro from Space says Texas has the best tight end on the field today.
Oh yeah.
Like I say, I don't deny that. I know I like who's that last week that NC State. I didn't get to see NC State today, but we're gonna talk about Tennessee, NC State here. Let's see. Our Future says Ewers took the next step. Footwork, pocket presence, deep ball. I'm assuming all of that looked good. Cowpoke Ranch, glad you're getting in here. Say what you want about Arkansas. They're 20 times better than Houston. I don't know about that. We'll see.
I don't know about that either. But
I don't know about that in-game coaching. I know on the ground and stat-wise, they did their thing, but I didn't get to see the game. I was getting updates from Ty and Shawty and Stat, but I just don't know how you double up somebody like that in yards and you still lose.
It's a gag job it was more Okie Light than Okie Light.
Both those bad coaching jobs, man, on both sides, man. It was a lot of bad coaching.
Right, got it.
Clock mismanagement, everything.
No doubt.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that one. So we're gonna get into this. So y'all say those right now. Where I am up in Kentucky, man, like I say, at the South Carolina they didn't just cover the spread and beat Kentucky. They thrashed Kentucky. And when I tell you, I don't know how it looked on TV, but in the third quarter, Kentucky stopped playing. Like, really, they was defeated mentally. You could tell it. They're not a very good team, first of all. But shout out to South Carolina. Shout out to my nephew, man. Hey, man, just target the dude, man. 3 targets, 3 catches, 1 TD, 63 yards. Just target the dude. That's all we ask. You know what I'm saying? Stat. Get the rocks off, dog.
I mean, look, another great performance from the defense. 5 more sacks through the first 2 weeks of the year. 10 sacks, 4 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles. We struggled last year stopping the run and getting to the quarterback. I still don't know if we can stop the run, but we're getting home with the front 4, which is allowing the secondary to play loose and free. And South Carolina's wreaked havoc in the secondary for years now. So finally having that front 4 getting home has been huge. Lenore's took a step forward today. Still, the pocket presence is a -10 if we're going on a rating scale, but he looked a little bit more comfortable with the ball in his hands and made some throws. So obviously the big touchdown pass to my boy MJ, rolling out, hitting him deep down the field on a 32-yard completion on 3rd and 9. So made some plays today. And also didn't run the ball 22 times, which is great to see. But we can't run the ball. We still have some major question marks. But you know what? We're 2-0. We are in first place in the SEC, and that'll forever be an answer to a trivia question. So I love that. And, hey, man, bring on LSU. Y'all get ready because Willie B is going to be rocking at high noon. It ain't no noon snoozer next Saturday. I can promise you that.
Right. Shawty, you catch some of that. I know we was kind of texting. We was texting during the game, man. And like I was asking, man, do they look as bad Kentucky that is as they did in person? Though they look bad, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say shout out to South Carolina because I mean, you know, when you put that kind of many points on Kentucky, I don't think nobody was expecting that. I think you guys were underdogs by 8.5 or something like that. This is what I want to say, and I've already said it again. The ineptitude at the quarterback position at Kentucky, there's no way they can start Vandergriff again. I mean, the kid was, I think, 3 for 9 for 30 yards.
3 for 10.
Like, bro, come on, like. That they by far are the worst team in the conference now. I mean that's awful, and I don't even know if Kentucky is just so bad as an overall team. It's just a quarterback position. The play from the quarterback position is so bad they can't get nothing going, and the defense just stays on the field the whole game because they 3 and out.
Right. It looked like that. Like I said, it looked like that in person, but I know sometimes when you're in person, it looks different on TV because you can see different angles. But
Coach, he looked bad. He did not look like a Division I starting quarterback.
Yeah, and they offensive line, South Carolina defensive line got after that offensive line all night. Dylan Stewart once again was a problem. Astro from Space says Kentucky lost. They didn't just lose. Astro.
No, they got baptized.
Yeah, right.
They got baptized.
Right. Give me your thoughts on that one, Andrew.
I mean, if you look at Brock Vandegrift, so 3 for 10 for 30 yards, a pick, and a fumble. And he also had negative 29 rushing yards. That means that man had 1 yard of net offense in the whole. You do not win games like that. I don't care if you are playing Howard. You can play whomever you want to play. You need more than 1 yard from your quarterback.
Right.
Congratulations to South Carolina. I do not like your schedule. Good Lord. LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma in a 5-game stretch. Lord have mercy. God, get your wins now. Get your wins now.
But so with that, LSU's look vulnerable. They're potentially beatable. I don't know if we can. But if we can beat LSU, we then get Akron, we then get a bye week. And all we do when Ole Miss is ranked in the top 5 is beat them at home. Just saying. When Ole Miss is ranked in the top 5, we beat them at home. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I didn't see the rose tint to your glasses, but I would love to live in your world with that.
Hey,
I mean,
listen,
you know
get
what,
ready
man?
for it.
Celebrate
I'm telling you, get ready for a whole
This game
week
is
of
really
it. Go
hard.
ahead, Jason, give me your thoughts on that game today, dog.
Well, first off, shout out to Maceo Bennett, man. The nephew did his thing, man. The dude's balling out already as a freshman. That's the freshman you want to see. You could have probably used him as a receiver. To be quite honest with you, especially with the way that they've kind of played. But nah, man, way to go for South Carolina. I think after last week, you kind of take a look and see. You think that, man, they're probably trash. But what has Kentucky really been the last couple of years? You know, aside from winning their non-con games, they really didn't look that good. It almost seems like somebody's a friend of ours that we all know was talking about maybe that Florida should go after Stoops because he's kind of had their number. And I was like, what Stoops? I was like, I don't buy it.
He wasn't working. He wasn't working Gainesville. It's his style. He ain't flashy enough. He
wouldn't work in Gainesville anyway. But I'm saying I don't even know that it's. I think that at this point you're starting to have expectations for Kentucky because of what he's done. Don't get me wrong, but he's not the guy to take you to the next level. So I would tell you that Vandegrift did not look good at all. You were in the stands, so you know that. But I would tell you that I was like, wow. I'm glad that he didn't end up at Oklahoma because he very well could have, and instead of Caleb Williams. But yeah, man, I think overall it is what it is. There, I don't think Kentucky's as good as people act like they are.
Yeah, and who knows what? I mean, I don't think he was all that great coming out of high school, but if he had Lincoln as a tutor, I don't know, maybe he looks better than he did. He would have to look better than he did today because he looked horrible today. I'm saying, OU got the win, 16-12. Game is final. We're gonna talk about that game later, but just keep this on your board. Chris Shannon kind of alluded to what Jason just mentioned, saying we have no go-to wide receiver. I don't know about no go-to wide receiver, but we'll get into that.
Available go-to wide receiver would be the the right answer to that.
Right. So, hey man, shout out to the Gamecocks, man. The Gamecocks did their thing today, man. Getting a big win. Listen, listen. Normally this is happening in the Gamecocks, but they did it to Kentucky today, and they was piling out of there early third quarter.
They're the only team with the SEC victory, right?
Right. They're the only ones. They're the only ones that got
place,
an
baby.
SEC victory. That's right.
First
They're the
place.
only one. At first place in the SEC for a week. That is right. First place in the SEC. All right, man. Let's wrap up this first slate of games, man, and talk about my boy, Fran Brown, getting the win over Georgia Tech today. Kyle McCord looked good once again. And I think it showed that I think this kind of shows maybe I don't like the transitive property, but kind of you know what I'm saying, shows how bad Florida State really is, you know what I'm saying? Not to down anybody else. Shawty, did you catch any of this Cuse Georgia Tech game? Come on, dog. You know it's always a good day when Tech lose.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, man. I just think it really is indicative of how Fran Brown has been able to infuse this team with talent so fast. I mean, it's been a very quick. Somebody got a lot of feedback. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, Andrew, can you mute until I get to you? Hey, thank you, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just awesome the way he's been able to bring in so much talent and get it rocking and rolling so fast. But I also think it's also a little bit of a sign that Georgia Tech maybe is not as good as we thought they were with that win over Florida State as well. But over and all, shout out to Fran Brown, man. I think he got the team on the right track, man.
Right. Jason, he brings in Kyle McCord, who Ohio State fans didn't really care for last year. But I thought it was a little too hard on the guy. I thought he played pretty good last year. Brought in some weapons from Georgia. And then they got their tight end back who didn't play last year, Rondé Gaston. So big win for Cuse there.
Hey man, and we were calling it. I mean, I think we were a couple of the guys that called it this week, and I kind of expected that. I don't think a whole lot of Georgia Tech. I mean, when you start looking, I mean, and it was a close game. Don't get me wrong, but Kyle McCord was definitely. I think he's better than Ohio State fans will tell you he is. I mean,
right.
He wasn't. What he wasn't was C.J. Stroud. So I mean, you know, it is what it is there. But C.J. Stroud wasn't beating Michigan either. So you know, just so we're clear on that.
Right.
So you know, it is what it is.
Say that again for the people in the back, Jason. Right,
man. But in the end, I think that you know when you send Fran Brown and those guys up there, they've got some other really good coaches, and they can all recruit, man. And you know, when it gets going like it does, you know, if they get it going a little bit at Syracuse, man, that dome kind of does some crazy things to people up there. So it is what it is. I look forward to seeing kind of how it plays out, but I don't think the ACC overall is probably in a situation that you don't look at any of them as being that damn good, just to be honest with you. And Georgia Tech, come on, bro.
Right. Andrew, Georgia Tech alum 2004 says hopefully his guys can play better next week. What do you think about Georgia Tech and Syracuse? Was it more about Cuse or was it more about Georgia Tech, you know, not being as good as people thought they were?
Well, I think Kyle McCord balled out today. Rondé Gaston did his thing that he's always done. And I think to the point with Georgia Tech, because for years they were the team that were kind of on the downtrodden. I was just looking at this. They were down 31-14 with 8 minutes to go, and they respond with 2 back-to-back touchdown drive. And they lose the game by 3, but they show some heart, some fight that they're going to make you earn it. And that's the Brent Key approach. So I think Georgia Tech is a bowl team, and they're going to be a pesky team. They actually played Notre Dame this year. And after what we saw today, let's, keep our eyes open.
They might beat Notre Dame.
They might beat Notre Dame. But good for the Cuse. I mean, talk about a quarterback transfer portal hit. And they did it. And they utilized their 2 best players with Pena and Gadsden, and he hit them all day. So good for Cuse.
Hey man, shout out to Cuse, man, for getting that win. They're 2-0. They survived Ohio last week, and then they get the conference win over Georgia Tech. Just a side note, John Russell says, Coach, how much would it cost me for this panel not to talk the OU game? I'm going to let Jason decide that later on, because if he wants to talk about it, we're going to have to talk about it. But we got a lot of OU fans in here, so they may want to discuss it. It wasn't on the slate of games, but, I like, they follow the channel loyally, so we may have to talk about it if they want to. So, Stat Guy, Cuse with the big win. We've been saying Cuse, watch out for them in the ACC. Not saying they're gonna get to the ACC championship or anything, but they're 1-0 in the conference, right?
Yeah, I think the big thing too with the Kyle McCord transfer is Ohio State fans weren't high on him, and they didn't get to play for a championship last year. And I wonder if that has something to do with it. You transferred to Syracuse. I think he's a fine college quarterback. Expectations on his high. What they're wanting isn't as high. So it gives him kind of a light to shine in where there's not as much pressure for him to be perfect. But the two big things for today, the first was that Georgia Tech didn't fold and they battled back and kind of made a game of it late, which is good to see for that program if they're going to try to compete in the ACC. But the other thing was that Hughes was able to jump out on them and kind of put their foot on their throat. Obviously, you would like to see him finish it and not give up the back-to-back touchdowns, but they got themselves in that position to be up 31-14 and kind of put themselves in really good shape. But overall, it was a good game. Definitely, it was exciting once Georgia Tech decided to start moving the football in the fourth quarter. Had to get into it. So just another good game on a Saturday.
Right. All right, Jason. You already talked about that. Okay. Anybody else got any final thoughts on the Tech Cuse game before we move on? All right. So next up, Arkansas fumbles the game versus Oklahoma State. Listen, at one point, wasn't they up like 2+ scores in this game?
They were up 21-7 at one point.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I did. Somebody text me. I want to say it was Todd. Todd told me that Arkansas had like almost 650 yards of total offense, and Oklahoma State had like 350. What in the world? I didn't get to see any of that game. What happened, Shawty?
Like I say, man, you know, I hate to sound harsh, but that was a very bad game of coaching from both head coaches. Bless Sam Pittman heart, man. He just found a way to lose that game. I don't even understand it. And I tell you what I will say about Arkansas. Arkansas can cause you problems. I like what they do on defense. The guy off the quarterback is good. He's a very good athlete, but I don't know if he's going to survive the year. They got to find a way to take some pressure off of this kid because they putting the whole game on him. And that's basically what happened that, you know, once I almost called him Oakley Light. Oklahoma State started making adjustments. You know, they started kind of keying on the kid, and it became harder for them to score because I think after it was 21-7, they only scored 2 times more. So Oklahoma State started to make adjustments, and that's the thing that Sam Pittman didn't do. They never made any adjustments, and they just let Oklahoma State back into the game.
So, Jason, I know you watched that game. Ty was telling me about some field goal decision or not to kick a field goal or something like that by Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, when they went for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal. Yeah, that was stupid. But
I think he had just missed a 43-yarder on the drive or 2 before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he also had him make like a 46-yarder or something like that too. I mean, and this one wasn't that long. It was like a chip shot at most. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't love it, and especially when you're nursing the league, you go ahead and try to take points instead of going for it right there. In my opinion, you know, you do whatever you want as the coach, but I think that Sam Pittman's been making bonehead decisions for the last few years. That's just my opinion. I just don't see when you have turnovers were part of it, but there was a lot of just scratch your head moments in that game. You know what I mean? It just felt like a lot of real, what the hell is this about? And they had a bunch. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Oklahoma State definitely, or Okie Light would have been correct there, Shawty, just so you know. But they definitely weren't playing very well either. They took advantage of some situations that they should have, but they also, I mean, I think Ollie Gordon had 6 carries for 11 yards in the first half. I mean, they absolutely didn't do much. He didn't do much, and they were. To me, you look at that first half. I think I saw Cody on Twitter talking about how they had run the ball 26 or had thrown the ball 26 times in the first half, and just had the 11 or just had the 6 rushing attempts in the first half for Oklahoma State. That doesn't surprise me. I don't know what as bad as I don't think that Mike Gundy's a great coach. I think Casey Dunn's probably the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen. And he had to bail him out last year by coming in and just running the ball when they have you got the best running back probably in the country, certainly in that stadium for sure. Why the hell isn't he getting the football? They got away with one, man. They definitely got away with one. No two ways around it.
Right. Yeah, John Russell, you may be okay. Good comment about Notre Dame. We might talk about that a little bit later. That's a surprise game. I definitely didn't see that coming, but you may be outnumbered in the whole not talking about the OU game. These guys are going crazy in the comments. Oh, Andrew, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, dog. Listen, is this the equivalent to the Mario Cristobal fumble of the game last year?
Not as egregious, but it made no sense that, they obviously need to get a touchdown. It's 4th and 1. They're on the 6. They decide to run. They get stuffed. End of game. Their Arkansas's kicker was 1 for 3, but Taylon Green accounted for 477 yards, and they still lost the game. Ollie Gordon only rushed for 49. Like, if you just saw these stats and gave it to the two coaches beforehand, you would think that Arkansas steamrolled them. But it came down to coaching. It came down to situational football. And Mike Gundy is very lucky to come out with a win on this one. And I think this is just the beginning of the end for Sam Pittman era in Arkansas.
If it wasn't Sam Pittman, if he was coaching against anybody else, he would have lost that game.
Damn right.
Hey, sometimes you got to swing your way, right, Stat Guy?
Yeah, I mean, look, the big play was the muff punt, up 8. You muff a punt, you give them the ball on like your 8. I mean, that was the turning point. You're up 8. Like, field the punt. Tried to do too much, muff the punt. You give up the score. You give up the 2-point conversion. I will say this. Good teams win. Great teams cover. And I appreciate that Oklahoma State didn't kick I'm glad they missed that field goal in the first overtime. Took it to a second overtime, scored the touchdown, hit the 2-point conversion. I had them in the 7.5. So appreciate it.
I had them in the under the overtime where it killed me.
I had Arkansas in the set getting 7.5, so I was like, it was good. I was like, even if Arkansas loses in regulation, I'm good. And then they go to overtime. I'm like, of course y'all screwed me by letting them score 8 in overtime. So, man, it's crazy. John says Arkansas screwed themselves. Bad clock management at the end. Stupid foul calls on the defense and no QB urgency. But Taylon Green, he's not a freshman, but he's not very much experienced. I think last year was the first year he started at Boise State.
And I was going to say, he wasn't even a full-time starter at Boise State last year. I think he only started like 5 or 6 games.
So
but
that could come with time.
Yeah, he looked good today, but it was just a weird game. Like, weird stuff happened. It was just a weird game. Somebody said earlier that's the most Arkansas game ever. I mean, like, when you lose that way, you just like, only my team could figure out a way.
Right.
Because I think it was either at the end of the game or heading into overtime. It was 6:58 to 3:36. Like, that's like, to outgain somebody by over 300 yards. You think that you crushed them,
right? John Russell's getting in on some of the points that y'all were making earlier. Said Pittman didn't trust his kicker at that point, and because he missed the 36-yarder. Wow.
That's why he went for it on that 4th down, because like a drive or two right before that, he missed that 36-yarder.
So the 4th down that he went for, it was
still in the lead though.
I was about to say, how far would the field goal have been had he taken the field? Would it be in the 40s?
Might have been in that 30-yard range somewhere. It was the 36. Okay. Another 36-yarder probably. I think.
Okay. I thought it was like 42 or something, but
but I mean, for a Power 5 kicker, 40 to 45,
you got to
45 and under, you got to be able to hit them. But again, if he misses, maybe that's why, like I say, Sean D said 648 yards of offense is still loses crazy work. It is. That is crazy, nasty, get you fired the next day kind of work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he
can't blame Petrino.
Right. So, all right, man. Let's see. We got Tennessee, North Carolina State. I just seen the final score. It was 51-10. I said Tennessee would thrash NC State.
I was wrong.
Grayson McCall is a good quarterback, but he's a good football playing quarterback. He's not necessarily going to dice you up. I don't know how good he is at pushing the ball down the field. I feel like Concepcion would at least give you, 14 chance at 14. You know what I'm saying? But I knew they wouldn't be able to keep up with Tennessee's offense. So, Shawty, since you down here, what's your thoughts on Tennessee, NC State, man?
I just realized I took the under on that, and they covered by 1 point. You said it was 50 to what you said the score?
51-10.
God, 1 point. Oh man. Well, but just based off the game, man, I was impressed. Once again, going back to the quarterback play. That's my theme for tonight. I was very impressed with Tennessee's quarterback. I think he's going to cause some problems for a lot of teams in the SEC. The kid has a very natural live arm, and he seems to make pretty good decisions. Tennessee's defensive front was a lot better than I thought they were. I was actually impressed with Tennessee, and it's a very good win against a top 25 team. So I think Tennessee may be a little bit better than maybe some people thought.
Jason, I think you had this one a little bit closer here than
I did.
51-10.
Yeah, they and they had an opportunity to go in there and take the lead back or tie it up or what. I think they were going to be tied up or whatever, and he throws a pick six. You cannot, and you're really down there right by the goal line. You can't have that. You can't have it. And look,
not against a team like Tennessee.
No, not against them. And look, man, they look good though. They look really good. I think that the defensive side for NC State isn't good. I think we saw that a little bit last week, and we really saw it this week because you got an offensive-minded coach there that he's got a quarterback that can spin it a little bit, and they've got some good receivers, and they even run the ball well too. So, to me, that's the one thing that Josh is really the only air raid guy, aside from Lincoln when he's doing it correctly, when he used to do it correctly, that runs the football and runs it downhill. They're one run first team. So I would tell you that, that it looks like a really good team. You're going to have to – Oklahoma needs to play much better than they played tonight if they're going to win that game in a couple of weeks. But I would say that it's good game by Tennessee. Terrible game by NC State. I was definitely wrong.
Andrew, so Jason did say something there as far as the NC State. They struggled in week 1 against Western Carolina, and a lot of people kind of chalked it up, kind of like some other people's first week and say, well, the play calling was vanilla. They knew a game was coming. I don't think that's always the case, and it might not be the case here with NC State.
No. I mean, if you're looking at the stats, Tennessee tripled their total yards. Funny enough, it doesn't really pop out of the stat sheet, but they controlled the tempo. They forced one interception, which was the pick six, and they just kind of controlled the game. They were very balanced. It was 16 for 23 from Nico Iamalieva, and they had 20 rushes from their running back Sampson. It was very balanced. It was very good. You would think 51-10, the stats would jump out, but I didn't really put that many eyes on this, even though it was game of the week for ESPN. After the second quarter, going into halftime, you knew that Tennessee was going to put, kind of the pedal to the metal. So I would say hats off to Tennessee. They look like another fun, scary team in the SEC, and you have about 10 of those. So let's keep stacking those up, and more of the things the same. NC State Wolfpack, they get ranked 24th, 25th, doesn't matter. They have a big game, they fall for it. That's what they have. So hats off to Tennessee. Go back to the drawing board, NC State. On to next week.
Right. Stat guys, some people had, and including me, I thought NC State, I'm not saying they can't because this isn't an ACC game, but the way they look tonight, I don't know if they're going to make as much noise as I thought or some other people, had them, because NC State normally has a good defense. I mean, it's a different animal playing Tennessee once a year, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you get to see them every year, but that's different.
But this is also the best offense they'll see all year. They won't see an offense as good in the ACC. But again, they didn't look good. You're driving downfield, it's 10-3. You have the shot to tie it up, maybe get some air back into your locker room and kind of pump your chest a little bit. Not only do you throw a pick six, but a pick six to a walk-on, Like it wasn't even a scholarship player that got the pick six. Like how? I mean, like that ain't somebody they're circling on walkthrough on Thursday. Like, hey, don't throw towards this guy. Like that's rough, dog. Like that's rough. I will
He's
say,
scoring for a reason.
He was playing, bro. He was a starter.
no,
but that's hilarious.
But he's not a scholarship player. He's a walk-on. So I mean, I'm sure he'll have a scholarship after this week. But the other thing too, though, is we talked all offseason about all these new quarterbacks in the SEC, and I don't think it's any kind of a competition after 2 weeks who has separated themselves, and it's clearly Nico. I mean, he hasn't looked like a redshirt freshman.
He can spin it, man.
Definitely, I definitely think he can spin it. He's better at passing. Like I said, I thought he was good, but he seemed good so far, better than I thought he would. So, Tennessee's looking like they found their guy. We'll see if they can keep it going. Again, they got a tough game in a couple of weeks going to, you know what I'm saying, Norman. That's not going to be like playing NC State in Charlotte. That's not going to be like playing Chattanooga at home. So that's going to be interesting. We got one more game to talk about, OU fans, and we'll get to the OU game. We'll say that one for last. I know y'all are definitely voicing y'all opinion in the chat.
One last thing on the NC State game for me is, you know, 4 or 5. I mean, you can take it back to 1998 in the BCS era. This loss at this type of point differential, you're cooked. You can kiss playing for a national championship goodbye. Everything's still on the table for NC State. These non-conference games don't hold weight. It's not like, oh, well, now we're going to have to back. Like, they could still get the first round bye. So while this loss hurts, and maybe it's good, though. Maybe it shows them where they need to improve and where they need to work on in these coming weeks. Everything's still in front of them. Got it.
So the last game we'll talk about before we get to OU and Houston, Colorado and Nebraska. If I'm not mistaken, that is complete, and Rayola outdo Sanders, and they jumped on them early, dog. When I first got finished, you know, with the game here, and we got to where we was going, I saw it was like 28-0 or something like that. I was like, whoa, like they ain't even scored a field goal, dog. Like what's going like? So it sounded like I say Rayola outdo Sanders, but it sounded like more so that Nebraska's defense, Jeff, that guy outplayed, you know, of course, Colorado's defense.
Well, so the big thing with that, Colorado can't run the ball. I mean, Coach Prime alluded to that heading into halftime. He's like, we can't run the ball, and our defense is on the field too much, and we can't run the ball. And so because of that, people are dropping 6 and 7 into coverage. They're still getting home, bringing 3 or 4 because their O-line still isn't fixed, and it's just a bad recipe. But one of the big plays to me was right before the half. Raiola makes a pass. The pass probably should have been knocked down and or picked. It doesn't. It goes through the defender's hands. The wide receiver pops it up, catches it, and then walks into the end zone. And when stuff like that's happening, it's just not your night. Go ahead and fold it in, take the L on the chin, and keep it moving.
Hey, the part I saw, Shawty, Raiola looked comfortable, dog. He didn't look like a true freshman quarterback. Raiola, when he plays, he just looked like he comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been doing this, so this is nothing new. That's how he looked.
It helps when you ain't get no pressure.
Oh, that's true.
And one thing I said, man, I think we talked about this on previous shows. Like, this the same team. I don't even know how, from a psyche standpoint, they move forward. It's going to be hard for Dion to get those guys motivated because you come out hot, you go from sugar to poop. You know what I'm saying? Penthouse to the pole house in 1 week. And that's just what happened last year. So, once again, they can't run the ball. They can't stop nobody on defense. All they want to do is throw the ball. I just don't really have much to say about them because it's just the same thing, to be honest. I don't really know where they go from here. And with their schedule, I don't know if they go bowling this year.
And that's a good point. And Student Legends, the final score was 28-10. So 28-10. Jason, you know, you and I both have high, you know, valuation on Sanders and Travis Hunter. But I heard somebody on the radio say this week, Jason, that Colorado's a bad football team with about 5 elite players.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't think that I think, but I don't know about you, but I expected Nebraska to win like this. I figured they cover. I figured they win by 2 touchdowns. They haven't been able to fix enough. As you said, they've got 5 really good players. And it may not be much more than that. It really may not be, because and that is when you have that in and out mentality, and you've got guys coming in, guys leaving, guys coming in, guys leaving. We're talking about 2 years, and look, I still look at Colorado as a building situation because they have to be, but I don't think that this is the way that you can build this program up, is by just being so heavy in that transfer portal. Coach Prime's probably going to have to go out there and recruit better so that they can build around it. I don't think, but Raiola, he looked good. He definitely looked good. I don't know that I would say he's a better football player than Sanders right now. He may be later.
No.
But I don't think he's a better football player than Sanders right now. What the difference in this thing is that they have a defense and they ran the football.
A much better team.
Jason. That's exactly what I saw. I saw when I tuned in, Nebraska was up 21, I think, and they was running the ball, playing that complementary football I'm always talking about. They was like, okay, we're going to run the ball, give our defense a little rest, chew up some of this clock, and keep this offense, even if they was hot, they would have been able to keep them off the field. So, Andrew, God, Colorado looked bad, bro. Nebraska, I ain't trying to take that away from Nebraska.
It's disappointing, man.
But Colorado, like Shawty said, looks exactly the same, just different players.
Yeah. There's also bad coaching mistakes, time management. They had 110 yards and 12 different penalties. Travis Hunter had 10 catches for 110 yards. We don't remember a single one of them. They had no running game whatsoever. 23 yards, 26 yards, something like that total. Nebraska got out there, set the tone, 7. Shedeur throws a horrid pass, pick 6. That's the end of the game, in my opinion. And then they just kept on going. And, yeah, better to be lucky and good right before halftime. It should have been an interception. It turned into a touchdown. So, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, it's not like Colorado was a secret of being a rebuild. They had made one game in the bowls for 2020, but who knows what about that season. And then before that was 2016. So if you take out a COVID bowl, you have one bowl game appearance in 8 years. It's obviously a rebuild, but the fact is the way that Prime is doing this is he's thinking that they're only like 3 or 4 players away from making it a good team. Well, they're not. They're about 30. They have an amazing quarterback. They have an amazing wide receiver cornerback. They have good safety. They just got a great left star out of high school. But they were also just so under the spotlight, right? From minute 1, because that's what Prime is. He wants to bring the best. I don't think this team is going to win more than like 4 or 5 games. Right. They have a really challenging schedule.
This is a prime example. I'm sorry. Were you done, Andrew?
No, you're good, man.
I'm going to say this is a prime example, man. Once again, I'm just as honest as I can be. This is a prime example of when you get the right guy into your program, meaning the head coach. Nebraska got the right guy, and it's yet to be known if Colorado got the right guy. Because Matt Rule has turned this program. We always talk about how you get that second-year jump when you're that head coach. They still running in mud. Matt Rule has not only closed the gap, he looked like he has better talent. The whole team just looked better. At no point in that game did Colorado look like a better team than Nebraska. No, not even getting off the bus.
Sean D even said it right, too. They would have won like this last year if their quarterback won a turnover. Yeah, he was a shot putter, man. He wasn't a quarterback. The dude he was throwing shot puts, and just, and right to the linebackers. That's about as far as he could get it. So I agree. I think, Matt Rule is a real deal freaking coach, though. We're talking about a guy who turned around Temple quickly and, turned around Baylor after everything that went on at the end of the Art Briles regime. This guy knows what he's doing. I didn't know if it was possible to turn Nebraska around at this point. I didn't. This dude's
bad. Well, we don't know what the overall record, but they look good.
Right.
They look
But
good
that's
though. In a lot
You
of
can
places.
see the improvement, yeah, for sure.
Right. We don't know what they're gonna be overall, like you say, but watching the game, they look well coached. That's why I was telling Kentucky fan came up to me, while I was waiting on my nephew. He was like, man, he was going on and on. I was like, they just didn't look well coached today, and that's unlike Mark Stoops' team. But like Nebraska looked well coached today, you know what I'm saying? And he has, at least to this point, you can visibly see the jump that he made that Shawty's talking about, that second year jump. And Colorado, again, just looks like the same 4 or 5 guys that's really elite. And then the rest of everybody else just changed jerseys and names on the back, and same old. And but you know what? I don't even put it on the players though. Like I said this last year, like I thought they had some good players last year. I think they got some good players this year. I just don't believe in the staff overall in-game coaching. I just don't. It's like, they, great motivators.
When is it gonna show? That hasn't shown yet.
I don't think it will.
So I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Coach Prime himself is, he's said on numerous occasions, and you hear Shedeur talking about it. He doesn't want Shedeur leaving the pocket and running. The guy runs a 4.3. Let him go do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? You got him getting sacked 56 damn times last year, and he got sacked a bunch today. Let the dude go and do what he's got to do. I don't agree. I agree with you. I think the in-game decisions and the way that he's allowed whatever it is that I don't know what it is that's clogging his head up about the way his kids play. Let them go. Let them go.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like
business decisions.
Like
already
the non-running game in 2 years, you go and get all these people out of the portal, and you don't figure out. Again, I'm not even blaming the players. Like you have to start looking at who's doing all of this. Why can't you guys run block? Why can't you guys at least stay committed to the run? I ain't saying you gotta go out here and run all over people like you got Ollie Gordon or the guy from or Judkins or nothing like that. I'm just saying, dog, stay committed to it. How about that? Stay committed to the run, burn some clock. This is the thing. I know this is something simple. I feel like, and it feel like it does trickle down to the players. They feel like they got to score every single time they step on the field. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to score, but complimentary football sometimes is running some of this clock down so we can get our defense a rest and playing the punt game to play field position. That's good coaching when sometimes you're not moving the ball like you want to move the ball.
A quick update, boys are up at halftime 20-14 on Oregon.
I took Boise in the 19.5 in our pick 'em, by the way.
I took the points too. I think it was 21.5 when we had it.
Pick 'em, man, and Oklahoma State let me. They scoring 8 in overtime, sticking me. Iowa. I mean, I know that's not a game we're covering today, but Iowa, I had them.
They lost, right?
Straight up. I don't know if they lost.
They lost. Yeah, they lost straight
up.
They
lost. Last second field goal.
It was only a 3-point spread, and they was favored by 3. I took them. Who else I took that let me down, man? I was like, y'all let me down at the end of the game.
Cincinnati bottled it.
Oh God, they beat Pitt down. That's all I say. When I looked at it, it was like 28-7 or something like that. It was crazy. So, but that's Colorado and Nebraska in a nutshell. We'll see what Colorado goes. And like I say, I actually came into the year saying that Colorado, I guess I was watching a lot of Colorado preview shows and falling for the hype. I was like, they going bowling. They might be 7-8 wins. You know what I'm saying? I'm believing the hype. But at the end of the day, like I say, I'm not even blaming the players, bro. I'm putting all this on the coaches, dog. You can't have, because they got a whole new set of players, but look like Shawty say exactly the same as they did
all
last
sizzle,
year.
no steak.
Right. So
still undisciplined.
Right. These guys in the comments been going crazy. And I know Jason is chopping at the bit to calm some of them down, man.
That's not going to happen tonight. This 20 minutes after the damn game got over with, that shit ain't happening. I don't really care to even talk about it at this point.
All right, y'all heard it, man.
I can tell you this much. The world did not end tonight for Oklahoma. That defense was really good again, and up against Willie Fritz's teams. I mean, they were much improved from last week. That defense was the real deal. All I know is that it's not about just the offensive line. It's not about just this or just that. There's a lot of things that have to come together for the offense. Will it? More than likely. Is it right now? No. You don't have any. You've got all brand new receivers that have been out there playing. They're not on the same page with Jackson. It is what it is. It is what it is. They still won. They still won the game. And how many times have you seen them win a game that their offense isn't clicking at all? Been a while.
Right. So listen, man, y'all already know Jason's gonna do a real in-depth, dive into this game. And he definitely has a point. Like sometimes, dog, you gotta take a beat. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take a beat. Y'all right after the game, but I will show y'all comments. I know y'all got frustration. Some of y'all don't. Kyle says, part of me wants to believe that Fritz is just that good of a coach, but the logic in me says that OU's offense just needs to figure it out and fast. Hey, man, again, it could be a good point. We'll see. Sooner Cowboy says OU O-line is why OU offense sucks. That could be.
That's not even it, though, either. If you were watching the game, actually, you would see that he was running out of the pocket when the pocket was full and intact. So tonight it was actually Jackson.
I didn't get to see a lot of the game, but I did see what Jason just talked about. I saw Jackson leave the pocket, and literally there was a pocket, and he just left the pocket and made the wrong read. But again, I didn't get to see the whole game, and I want to see the all 22 before I actually go in about what happened on this particular night. Kyle says O-line was actually decent today in the past game, so it isn't just that. Sooner Cowboy says, nah, J.A. was never comfortable and no 100-yard rusher. So you're saying the running game didn't help him out. Okay, got you. Trojan Fight says, maybe Phil Steele's SEC online rankings aren't wrong. Listen, wherever he had OU, I don't know where he had OU because I'll look at Phil Steele. Phil Steele to me is like PFF, to be honest with you. You take them with a grain of salt. Neither one of them pretty good at their job. So Kyle says, okay, you talking to Sooner Cowboy. I know football. Jason just ain't in my feelings. Yeah. He
is in his feelings, bro. He is in his feelings. They're all in their feelings. You should see the Discord right now, Coach. Hot damn. And it's been like that the whole game.
Hey, you'd have heard the Kentucky fans today. They ain't winning another game this year. I was like, you got to have some OOC games against a directional school or something, you know what I'm saying? But Claymore says when you can't run block, that's half of your offense, and the defense can load the secondary. It's a problem. Okay. Fritz might be just might be that good of a coach. I don't know. The offense is completely one-dimensional because of the OL. Well, hey,
first off,
score. Go ahead, Jason.
Can I just say this? Okay, yeah, the O-line was missing a lot of its starting guys tonight. If they're dinged up at all, they're not playing. And I think that could be an issue as far as that's concerned. I think that if they're good enough to play, you might probably want to get them in there by at least next week and try to see if you can get them to gel a little bit more because it is a new line. Am I overall worried about this offensive line? No, I'm not. I think that we still have one of the best, if not the best offensive line coach in the country. They have talent there. There's some things that they got to work on for sure. I think that it is what it is when it comes to that. But overall, I didn't really see. It was just kind of clunky, man. It was just kind of clunky. It wasn't really like it was an O-line problem or this problem or that problem. I think there was a little weird stuff. You had a lot more drops again tonight. Again, the receiving core itself was pretty much all brand new, every one of them. And they didn't really, I don't feel like they stayed on the same page at any point. And maybe Jackson was a little jumpy in the pocket and shouldn't have, again, he's also brand new to the offense. So some of these things are going to take a little while to gel, but I think if they can finally get it going with the running game, and I don't know that they have the right running backs in there or what's going on there either. We'll see. But you don't really know until you are at full speed. I don't know when that's going to be or if it even happens at this point. There's obviously something else going on there, but I don't think that you can just point to one thing and be like, it's this, because it's 2 weeks in and it's not all completely ironed out. If they're the same at week 6, then we got a problem.
Andrew, we kind of came in while that game was finishing up, man. What are your thoughts on OU versus Houston?
I watched one play. It was the safety. Congratulations, Jason. You're doing God's work.
Oh, okay. Shawty, did you get it?
Did you 12 is a win. You
Right.
won. It doesn't matter if it's by 1 or by 100. You win. You live to play another day.
Appreciate you getting in here, Eric. Yeah, man, we in here. We saving OU talk for. We actually the snap count panel knows that we have games on the slate. This actually wasn't a game on the slate, but you guys went hard in the comments, and so we're just touching on it again. Jason's probably more than likely going to do a deep dive on this, and I'm pretty sure the guys over at Unfair Sports are going to talk about it. So you guys can definitely get that shouted. I know you caught some of this game, man. Thoughts on the Sooners versus the Cougars?
Yeah, man. Look here, man. I don't want to get no hate mail. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep everything very vanilla like I've been doing tonight, man. And I'll just say this here, man. You guys have to find a way. I mentioned it last week, and it's becoming a trend because it's happened more than once. You got to find a way to convert third downs. It's just that simple. You got to find a way to run the ball better. And again, everybody done touched on tonight. The O-line is not a finished product. It's definitely a product that needs to be worked out and kinked out. But the thing I would say is this right here. If you're going to be doing what you're doing, this is the time to do it because the schedule is going to only get tougher. So you got another game. I think another soft game.
Tulane.
Yeah. Oh, Tulane.
Yes, Tulane.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
They lost to Kansas State today by 7, but they covered. But
they got jobbed on the last.
They look
game.
good. Yeah, they look good.
Norman, they go to Norman next week though. So
Tulane got some playmakers, but yeah. With that being said, man, I'm not gonna kick OU while they down and nothing like that. They did get the win, but I would say this right here, and just all fairness and honesty, you have to start looking at this team from a standpoint of you that you do have issues. And these issues need to be fixed immediately. It can't be this, well, maybe next week or, it's just, no, it's everything count.
Right. Listen, I agree kind of with Jason. He said earlier, we just speaking on tonight. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't saying the O-line played great. I'm just saying Jackson had happy feet. So that's all I'm gonna say. Tonight, Jackson had some happy feet out there, and he gonna have to slow down. Even when there's a little bit of pressure on you, dog, like you can't automatically bail on the pocket like that. I know he doesn't have all his wide receiver targets and things of that nature, and the running game ain't helping him out. But sometimes you got to be that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he missed some throws. There's no two ways around it. I was not having the Jackson hate last week. Tonight he deserves the better part of it, not the offensive line. If you're gonna be on somebody tonight, from what I could tell, it's got to be on Jackson because he missed some throws that were there. He missed some throws because he was running out of the pocket. I think, happy feet's a good way to put it.
Right. Shout out to Bullish Zombie Rebel.
How do we not have Notre Dame on the slate, Coach?
Because they was playing Northern Illinois.
They lost to Northern Illinois.
Fair enough. I got
all the games.
Yeah.
On Monday.
Fair enough.
Riley Leonard couldn't do passes. They couldn't run the ball.
We should probably talk about that.
Listen. If I'd have put that in the group chat, y'all would be like, "Why coach y'all put Northern Illinois and Notre Dame on the slate?"
Until the game went the way it did, though.
Right. But we can talk about it a little bit. I was just trying to let some of the guys get some of their frustration out so they can be level-headed tomorrow or Monday.
That's a worse loss than Florida State and Georgia Tech, right? Because they were top 5.
Yeah,
in North,
sure a bad loss by Notre Dame. And I didn't get to hear Freeman's press conference. I saw it when we was at I saw it on the TV. It was at Buffalo Wild Wings, but I couldn't hear it. And I'm like, bruh, I don't know what you're saying after that loss because I don't know. Maybe y'all got the big head or whatever.
They were more physical than Notre Dame up front. I mean, they demolished their front.
They lost to Stanford last year. They lost to Marshall. I mean, they lose these weird games.
Listen, man, Freeman can't keep losing games like this.
Freeman. This one's on Freeman. I mean, you could say Riley Leonard didn't throw the ball worth of shit. There's no two ways around that. And that's where Coach was at. He was trash throwing the ball today. But
listen, y'all jumped on me last week when I was telling y'all that, though. Well, not y'all. Coach did. Let me take that back.
I was going to say, I didn't say shit to you.
I took it back.
And I'm not even trying to. But Coach said that to me earlier. It's one of the very few things that I only answered him once. And I was like, I don't even really know what to say, Coach. And he was saying it. They weren't good throwing the ball. I also think that you kind of take a look at that. But yes, I think, as Andrew said, Think about the Marshall game. Think about the fact they lost to Stanford in the first year. This is an issue that's within the inner workings of this football team. There's something wrong in the locker room there. I don't know if that they're letting them
be too free.
Yeah,
not enough, like,
maybe you're a little too much players
player
coach and not enough in your face coach. Maybe something like that.
Listen, I'm not saying that's what it is, but if it is, I can see it because I don't know. He just, and maybe behind closed doors, he's he just turns it on and he's throwing people out, out of practice for being lead. I don't know. He just seems like he seems like the assistant coach that everybody wants to be the head coach, but he really ain't. That's what it seems like at this moment. Trojan Fight, Tarkin the problem. What are you referring to? If any, can you clarify that for us?
He's talking about him at playing the left tackle position.
They lost their left tackle for the year.
Listen, I can tell you like this: if the O-line is a problem, it ain't just the tackle. I can tell you that. Like when the O-line's a problem, the O-line, it's not. You see, one guy getting beat, but if you think today was an O-line problem, it definitely.
What about their D-line? The running back had almost 200 yard rushing. He had 100 passing and catching, if I'm right.
Right. Yeah. I just don't think the O-line, the part I saw, the O-line.
You're talking Oklahoma now again? We're talking
Oklahoma. No, we're talking about Notre Dame and
Notre Dame. No.
And Tario Brown is the man's name.
Right. Okay. I got it.
I don't think you can say that it's the Notre Dame left offensive line's problem. They went into Kyle Field last week.
Yeah.
Texas A&M has a great defensive line. I can guarantee you they have a better defensive line than NIU, but
right.
I mean, NIU worked them today.
Yeah, they were more physical.
It was amazing.
Shout out. Right. Claymore says true. JA was bad today. Okay, that's good. Could have been worse. Could have lost to Northern Illinois. Like overrated, right? That it could have. Shout out to B for getting in. Appreciate you getting in.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't count the W's and L's on Real Talk. You got the dub. So
right. So Alec F1 says the offense is dysfunctional on many levels. No run, no deep ball. TEs are productive. Nick Barley, appreciate you getting in. Says Missouri hasn't all out a score through 2 games. They look really good. Who they playing tonight? Like Southwestern State or something?
Nobody.
I ain't taking nothing from it. Hey man, it's hard to hold people to 0. I ain't gonna lie.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out when we'll see when they actually, I think Missouri's a pretty decent team. I don't know if
they played Murray
last year.
They played Murray
State last week.
No, this week they had. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. I got it right here. Hold on. They played Buffalo today, 38-0.
Okay. Right. Hey, like I said, two goose eggs. Hey, again, that's not easy to do at any level of college football, regardless of who you're playing. So, shout out to them for not even letting them get a field goal. I'm interested to see how they'll look once they have an easy schedule this year. Not for nothing. So, that could work in their favor this year. But back to the OU game, Kyle says Jackson had too much tunnel vision, was trying to force the deep ball too much. Fair point.
Just thinking about every little thing we can come up with at this point.
You already know how it is. It's instant reaction right here. It's fresh on the brain. Ain't nobody.
This is right now. This happened this a little while ago. We're madder than hell. Drinking a little bit.
Right. So Kyle Dupree said, "Yeah, Tulane ain't no soft game." I definitely not. Let's see. Safe to say,
interested what that spread is.
Yeah, I'm be interested to see what that. I think playing at home. Well, it was 7.5 going into that. It was it was a little bit more than that against K-State. What? It's not going.
No, it was like 21 against K-State, I think.
Ooh, no, I think that was
21.5, wasn't it?
Ooh, I don't think so. It wasn't that bad, was it?
I don't know. I might be confused.
Safe to say, Jackson just looked out of pocket and tonight, and we'll see. Right? It could have been just again. You can't use one game to tell a season. Now, if next week against Tulane he's making these same mistakes, then you can start putting some patterns together. But he looked good, last week in some areas, and then today in those areas he didn't look good. So, I mean, it's a 50-50 right now. So you could use say Hawkins will replace Arnold during the Tennessee. I don't know. Listen, I can tell you this. Let me say, man, I ain't about to sit here and act like I'm no OU aficionado, but I can tell you right now, Jackson Arnold ain't getting replaced by Michael Hawkins in no Tennessee game. I don't care if you lose Tennessee. He's not.
Well, I don't know.
This ain't Lincoln Riley, man. This
No. What I would tell you, there's a lot of
he-
people inside the program that think that Hawkins may be ready now at this point. I'm not necessarily one of those folks.
Well, this is what I'll say. I'm saying if he replaces him, I don't think Brent Venables does it during the game.
I don't think that you can do that. No, I think
no, man.
You'd have to be thinking you have a chance to win, and he's made some bad mistakes. Or it'd have to be like how they replaced Spencer down 28-7 in the first quarter.
Okay,
I see. But what I would tell you is that I would not be that surprised if. Wait a minute. I'm gonna just pump the brakes myself here just for just a second. All right, they're not trying to replace him like that. Period.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to work your way through some of this stuff because the truth of the matter is this was one of the top quarterbacks in the country when he came out, and everybody was screaming for Jackson Arnold last year.
BJU wall too.
Yeah.
Hey, Shawty, are you helping or are you just talking shit over here?
I'm just making a point. I'm just throwing it out there.
Listen, no, that's not. But okay, well, DJU was, bro. I'm done, fellas. I'm out of here. I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm done with this conversation all the way around. I really.
All right, man. Let's talk about another one, man. What was the final score? I didn't get to see it. What was the final score of the Bama game? It'll be the last. This will be the last game we mentioned, and then we'll give out our tailgate tickets before we get out of here. What was the final game? Final score?
42-16, Alabama.
Okay, because JD Sands says the Bama
it's very misleading.
Got 42. It got away from in the fourth quarter, guys. South Florida. I did say they would cover. But they didn't. No, it was 42-16. You said?
Yeah, 42-16. But at one point,
they didn't cover.
USF had the ball on the Alabama 4 on a 4th and 1 and decided to kick it with 7 minutes to go, and then Alabama scored.
Got it.
But yeah, that is a very misleading stat. So.
Hey, Stephen G, you already. Hey, come on, man! Don't do that to Jason like that. Don't do that.
Tulane with 9.5.
9.5. Yeah. I think it'll be like it's gonna be about 9. I think it'll be about the same. Let's see if we got anything in here other than the Notre Dame stuff. So Alabama, the part I saw. I seen it when it was like when South Florida had just scored and made it 13-14. Alabama didn't look like themselves. I don't know what was going on. Almost like they felt like they could just roll their helmets out there because they got the A on. I mean the number, you know what I'm saying? Because they're Alabama, and South Florida was gonna lay down. But nonetheless, they got the big win at the end. I don't know how that fourth quarter got away from them like that. So
just the athletes took over. Jalen Milroe just too much, man.
I got you. All right, people in the comments, people watching, and panel, we're going to give out our tailgate tickets. Let's give out our tailgate tickets. I'll start, and I'm going to give a nod to the South Carolina Gamecocks, but my tailgate ticket goes to my nephew, Mazio Bennett Jr., 3 targets, 3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Just throw him the ball, Neilio. We appreciate you, my guy. Let's get Neilio's comments up there. What's going on, Neilio, man? Appreciate the super chat. 499 say all is well. That is right. All is well. Neilio. K-State got the dub. It was tight, but they got the dub. Hey, survive in advance, baby. That's all it got. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay, let me see if I can put them back in here. Authenticate with YouTube. Won't even let me put you back in, Jason. It's giving me edit name, kick from studio, or ban from studio. I don't want to do any of that. Try to go out and come back in, Jason, so we can get your tailgate ticket, my guy. Oh,
we ain't talking about OU no more, man. Come on back.
There you go. Boom, 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 boom.
I wasn't running from anything. Shit, I don't do that.
Right. So my tailgate ticket goes to Maysville Bennett Jr. South Carolina game because I'm up here and with them. So yeah, that's my tailgate ticket. Andrew, tailgate ticket. Who does it go to?
I'm gonna go with Antonio Brown in Northern Illinois.
Man, you stole my thunder.
Okay. Well, I could say Connor Bazelak.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, Connor Bazelak, Bowling Green. He played Penn State very well today. He looked efficient in the first half. Second half, he did better, but dude was spinning the rock all over the place in a hostile environment, so good for him. That is my tailgate ticket. The quarterback of Bowling Green. How about that?
How about that? Shorty, tailgate ticket.
Oh no, me and Andrew's on the same wavelength here, man. Mr. Brown had 20 carries for 99 yards rushing, and he also had 126-yard receiving, and a win over top 5 ranked Notre Dame.
Shout out to Mr. Brown. All right, Sooner Legend gets in here and say his tailgate ticket goes out to Danny Stutzman, middle linebacker at Oklahoma. All right, Kimberly, what's going on? Appreciate you getting in here.
He laid the hat on somebody on one.
Steve B says, yeah, Mike Stutz was awesome today. Y'all let me know. Commenters, let us know. So Sooner Legend got in with his tailgate ticket. Y'all give me y'all tailgate ticket so we can post it. Jason, tailgate ticket for Saturday, September the 7th.
I just give it to Northern Illinois, period, man. I just think that
the whole team, right?
Yeah, man. They came out there and they took care of business in a hostile environment. And yeah, the anti-tailgate ticket may go to Marcus Freeman. I don't know.
He getting kicked out of the tailgate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rob077 says tailgate ticket Illinois for taking out Kansas. Oh, so Illinois prevailed today. They was knocking on the door when I was coming in back into the room, so I didn't know.
Yeah, they won by 6.
I actually have a different one that I could probably go with though too.
Go ahead, Jason.
Iowa State coming out and beating Iowa today,
right.
20-19. It didn't look like they were going to do anything the whole way. I think the Iowa having an offense a little bit overblown, although they were going up against a really good defense in Iowa State, but they had that in hand almost the entire way. So for them to come in and find a way to kind of win that one on the road I mean, man, that's big. That's big
right.
in that game. So
it is.
Good for them too.
I heard something. I don't know how true it is because I didn't see all of Iowa's game last week. They said the offense could have been McNamara just throwing the ball up and hoping for prayers, and it was working out last week. But
this week he was 13 for 29, 99 yards and 2 picks.
Sound like all the prayers wasn't answered today. So Stephen G says his tailgate ticket goes out to all the mod teams. Week 2 is crazy and everyone's checked. That is right. All right, Neilio got to run. Say the wife wants to hit. Okay. He wants to go to a bar.
Happy wife, happy life.
Right. No problem, Kimberly. If you leaving, give me your tailgate ticket, Kimberly. Give me your tailgate ticket. All right. Stat guy says tailgate ticket goes to Dylan Stewart, South Carolina. That is right. That dude 2 weeks in a row has been a problem off that edge. Hey, point in being, I was standing beside another South Carolina fan, and he was talking about Nicholas Harbor, and I was like, man, if only he played defensive end, and you had him on one side and Dylan Stewart on the other side. Oh my goodness. But hey, another conversation for another day. Sean D says tailgate ticket to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Did not see that game going that way. Shout out to the Gamecocks for going on the road.
Maisie Bennett gets my tailgate ticket. I'm just giving it away to everybody tonight.
Odd future tailgate ticket. Gunner Helm. Okay, all right. That's what we get in there. Sorry, Jason, with the first day. Hey, that's how it be sometimes, dog. That's my get off your butt. Get your butt off my tailgate ticket goes out to Joshua Bate for the.
I don't know. I'm trying to look at that a little different. He got thrown out at the end of the game, but he was protecting Jackson Arnold after the guy hit him on a kneel down.
That was the second time that happened there. That case because Quinn Ewers got hit on a kneel down today.
He got hit on a kneel down, and.
But the guy didn't get a flag though. Yours.
I know. I didn't. That's what I'm saying. The Michigan guy didn't get no flag. Did the guy?
So whatever happened there, I don't know if
I don't know. Houston get a flag?
I don't know, man. I was watching at the end, but I think more than I'm looking at it right now, and I'm going to figure it out more later. But I think he definitely got flagged for doing that, and he took off his helmet, screaming and all kinds of stuff. I mean, he was freaking out. He wanted to beat the shit out of the guy, and he's a fighter.
Okay.
But these are offensive linemen taking care of their quarterback. So to me, I don't know.
Does that mean he missed next week, Jason?
I don't know. I don't know for sure if he was kicked out or if he just got a flag. That's what I need to make sure about. If he got kicked out, yeah, I think you have to miss the next game, don't you? Isn't that the rule?
It's something like that, a quarter or so. It's something. I don't
next half, I think.
Yeah, something like
quarter. It's a half. If they haven't changed, it's a half because George Pickens got kicked out of the Georgia Tech game, and he had to miss the first half of the SEC game. So
he just got a 15-yard penalty. He wasn't.
The reason that people are upset with him though is because of the fact that kneel down would have ended the football game. They ended up having to kick the ball to Houston, and they got another shot.
Gotcha.
So don't get me wrong. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. And with the way things were going, yeah, if they lose the game, he probably never plays again. And Brent was pissed. You could tell he was pissed.
So maybe instead of him getting kicked out, he got the flag, and then Brent just took him out. Like, you ain't playing him.
Yeah, they took him out. They took him out for sure. Well, and they were punting anyways. I mean, I don't know that he was, but Brent, like, Bill Bedenbow was talking to him fairly sternly, and Brent walked up and told him, he like pointed at him to get the hell off his sideline, basically. You know, like.
Right. So I used to say, protect your quarterback. Hey, you can't mess with the QB. The offensive line always gonna get you when you mess with.
I think with me, that's kind of where I'm at on it too. That's kind of where
right or wrong, they gonna get you. That's their guy. So
I don't care if they're wrong on that.
Right. So hey, man, we appreciate all y'all getting in, man. And all you OU fans, y'all already know. Like I say, you'll take a beat, look at the game again tomorrow, and then when Jason has his show, do a deep dive, then y'all can go in with y'all level-headed complaints.
It's gonna be a great week.
Hey, listen, if not for nothing, Jason, you got a lot of content coming your way.
and I was gonna say that too, man. Shout out to the football scheduling gods again, man. This has been the first 2 awesome weeks of college football. It's been some awesome matchups, man.
Right.
Even week 0 was pretty good.
Y'all go around, let the people know where they can find you. Starting with Andrew.
You can find me on Twitter at SSN_Penn State. Be continuing my coverage for the Nittany Lions. I'll probably do a little all 22 look tomorrow to see how the team actually, looked against Bowling Green upon further review. But can't wait for this. We have a bye week next week, so thank God for that. So we can all forget about that game.
All right, Shawty, tell the people where they can find you at, man.
My God, chicken boy, you never cease to amaze me, man. You never cease to amaze me. He always
come in with the one.
God. Yeah, man, you can find me anywhere pretty much you find Coach, man. I can't even go through it right now. Just my damn opinion on some nights, man. Just subscribe to the channel because I be all over the place, man. You can find me on Respect of the Hedges, Fat Natty. You can find me on Jason Hall of Fame sometime, man. I'm all over the place, man.
There it is, man. Like I say, man, good week. Hey, listen, if nothing else, Notre Dame gave us a week full of content to break down. If nothing else, you know what I'm saying? Jason, tell the people what you got going on, man. Tell these OU fans.
Don't find me. Do not find me this week. Don't do it, damn it.
Oh, there we go. Before you start, Kimberly says her tailgate ticket goes to Malik Murphy. If I can get, yes, you can give it to anybody you want to. That's right. Hey, shout out to Malik Murphy over there at Duke, man. Balling out of control. Okay.
Nope. Yep. No, I'm just kidding, man. Hall of Fame college football. It's actually not at CFB Dash Pod anymore. I changed it when we moved the thing, but I'm going to change it back so you can leave it there. It'll still find it. It's just Hall of Fame college football, guys. Just make sure you find me there at JW_HOF on Twitter. Let's all just take a breath and realize that they won the damn football game tonight. We'll be all right. We still got to get fixed later. Yeah,
right, man. And if you haven't already, man, hit that thumbs up on all 3 channels, man. Just My Damn Opinion, Fan Addict, and Hall of Fame College Football. Y'all make sure y'all get at Andrew on Twitter, talk a little trash to him, man, and things of that nature. Shout out to the stat guy.
That Creature Conference shout out, Coach.
Oh yeah, and so next Saturday at 5 p.m. in Athens, Georgia, the Respect the Hedges team will be at Creature Comforts, the official tap room of the University of Georgia Athletics before the Kentucky game. The Kentucky game is on the road, so when the Dogs are on the road, Respect the Hedges will be doing the pregame because they do a watch party at Creature Conference. So y'all if you're in the Atlanta or Athens area, man, come and check us out. Stat Guy says game day in Cola. Be sure to tune in. I don't think so, dog. I don't think South Carolina LSU will get it. I gotta look at it. I ain't gonna say that. I gotta look at it. So y'all again, make sure y'all hitting that like and subscribe, man, on all the channels. Again, man, here's a picture of all the guys that are part of the Saturday Night Snap Count. JJ Kitchens, talking college football with JJ Kitchens. Shawty for Just My Damn Opinion. Shawty Parker 758. Me and the Stat Guy. Andrew on Twitter, SSN_Penn State. Jake set the tone college football. Jason, and he said y'all can leave it at CFP Pod, but if you can't find it there, make sure you just type in Hall of Fame College Football and Bresky Sharpshooters Podcast. Hey, man, I appreciate the fellas getting in. I'm tired. I've been up a long time, so we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man, and until next week, we out of here.